Hello, welcome to our presentation from Student Financial Services. This is Your College Finances, Be Fully Prepared. I'm Jonathan Graubear. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Accounts. Joining me today is Jennifer Beck, our Director of Financial Aid, as well as Dustin Knoll, our Military and Veterans Affairs Coordinator.
Welcome, everyone.
So we are from the Office of Student Financial Services. We're a combined office of student accounts as well as financial aid. And just to notice, we are going off video right now to make the presentation a little bit more streamlined for you. We'll be back on so you can see us at the end of the presentation. We are a centralized office of both financial aid and student accounts. So it's one place for you to go for anything related to student account matters. You have a dedicated financial advisor, which we'll talk about a little bit later. If you want to visit us on campus, we're right here in main building in room 204. We are on limited hours due to COVID right now. We're open from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon, and then from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We also operate a virtual front desk over Zoom. That's available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon, and you can get to that on our website. Feel free to call us by phone. We're at 512-448-8523 or toll free 1-800-555-0164. Of course, you can get to us by email at seu.finaid@stedwards.edu or our website, stedwards.edu/billing and financial aid. So our office is responsible for a few things. Like I said, we're a combined office of student accounts and financial aid. So that means that we do all the awarding and dispersing of financial assistance. We handle all the billing and collection of tuition, fees, room and board. Our office also sees the on-campus work-study programs, as well as coordinating all the veterans benefits. Today, we're going to go through a few things. I'm going to start us out talking about the billing and payments. Then Jennifer's going to take over and talk about financial aid. And then Dustin's going to come in and talk about veterans benefits. And then we'll tell you about how to contact us at the very end. So let's go ahead and get started with billing and payments. So shown on the screen right now are some typical charges for a semester. You can see that it's tuition charge of $24,163. And that tuition charge covers any full-time undergraduate student. And full-time in this case is 12 to 18 hours. 12 is the minimum needed for full-time. If you're taking fewer than 12 hours, then you'll be charged an hourly rate. And if you're taking more than 18 hours, you'll be charged this flat rate plus an hourly rate for anything over the tuition. The vast majority of our students fall into this 12 to 18 hour range because like I said, 12 is less than full-time, and then over 18 is a pretty heavy course load. So 24,163 is covers most all of the students. For your room, that's $4,150. So if you're staying on campus, that's kind of a typical charge for living on campus as a freshman. We also have a meal plan, which is a combination of both dining dollars as well as topper tender. Your dining dollars portion is going to be $19.85, and the topper tender is $2.25. And we're going to get into the differences between those in just a little bit. And then lastly, we have a single comprehensive fee of $375. And that comprehensive fee is meant to be like a general fee that covers a lot of different things. When I was in college, we got this whole list of fees. There was all delineated in these little tiny fonts, but we just lumped it into one simple thing, the comprehensive fee that covers everything. So your total charges before any kind of financial aid, you're looking at about $30,898 for the semester. We do have a couple of optional fees that are available. For instance, we have a car permit, and that's $142 for the spring and summer semesters. If you do come, you can also get that in the fall. So if you come for the entire year, we offer an annual car permit that's available to cover fall, spring, and summer. We also have health insurance. It's $1,242, and that's per semester. If you do have health insurance already, you can have that waived. If you go to My Hilltop and click on the Submit Proof of Insurance task, you can submit your insurance card and have that health insurance charge waived. They'll just check it for minimum coverage, and then that charge will come off of your account. And you do need to submit the health insurance every year. So once fall rolls around again, at the beginning of the fall semester, you'll submit that health insurance again, and then every fall thereafter. So I talked about meal plans earlier. We have two meal plans for freshmen, Plan A and Plan B. And the difference between those is really just the amount the student has to spend. All of our dining facilities on campus are a la carte. So if it's not a single swipe per time you go in. So if you go and you just want to get a drink, you're just charged for that drink. If you go in and want to get the full meal, then you're charged for the full meal. So the dollars that are listed on the meal plans are exactly what's available for the student to purchase from the from the dining facilities. That Plan A is going to cover approximately 17 to 19 meals per week. Again, it varies based on how much the student eats. And then Plan B is going to cover approximately 14 to 16 meals per week. It's split up into two parts. The first part is the dining dollars. And the dining dollars is taken at all of our on-campus dining facilities. We have 6 of those around campus. Any unused amount of dining dollars at the end of a fall semester will roll forward into the spring. For you guys that are starting here in the spring, you just have until June 30th to use all that before any unused dining dollars are lost. So make sure you use those up by the end of the spring semester. For Topper Tender, that's the other portion of it. It works just like the dining dollars, except it's a little bit more flexible. In addition to being taken at all 6 of those campus dining facilities, we also have a few other places on campus where you can use it, including the copy center, all the vending machines, the bookstore, and the convenience store. We've also partnered with some off-campus locations who will take your Topper Tender. We have all these are right by campus, so it's very, very convenient for the students to use, including CVS Pharmacy, Chili's, ATX Food Mart. We also partnered with Southside Flying Pizza, Cabo Bob's Burritos, and Quinn Madre Kitchen, all restaurants right near campus that are owned by St. Ed's alum. So it's great that we're able to offer that to current students, being able to go to businesses owned by former students. The amount of your Topper Tender is also never lost, and it's completely refundable when the student is no longer here at the university. So unlike the dining dollars, which expire every June 30th, the Topper Tender is going to roll forward, until the student is no longer here and chooses to cash it out. I know that when I came back as staff, I still had like 50 cents left on my Topper Tender from when I was a student. So the other nice thing about Topper Tender is that you can reload it anytime. If you go to the My Topper Tender task on my Hilltop, or just go straight to hilltoppercard.com, you can add funds to your Topper Tender and they're available right away for you. In addition, the student can add those, but a guest can also add those to the student's account. And all the guest needs to know is the student's ID number. You just type the ID number in, add their payment and the amount they want to put on, and those funds are again available for the student right away to be able to use. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about the financial terms and conditions. And the real important thing that we want to emphasize in this section is that the student is responsible for having their bills settled. Now, it may be that someone else is paying for it, like a parent or a trust fund or a 529 plan or financial aid. But regardless of all that, as an institution, we consider it the student's responsibility to have that paid. And so the student needs to understand that and make sure they're in communication with us. And if someone else is paying, they're in communication with those people to make sure that everything's settled. The student should also be familiar with our tuition refund schedule. So the later in the semester a student might drop a class, then the less of a refund they're going to get back for that. Now, again, if you're staying between that 12 and 18 hours of coursework, it doesn't matter. Like you're charged the same rate of tuition whether you add or however much you add or drop. But if you drop below that 12, you might get less of a refund if you do it later in the semester than you would if you do it at the beginning of the semester. So be sure that you as a student are familiar with those refund dates. We also want you to be aware of using the official withdrawal process if you're leaving the university. Now, we hope nobody leaves. We want you all to graduate and go on to have fabulous lives. But if you do choose to leave, then we have an official withdrawal process that can be used to make sure that everything's complete for that student before they go. And that's really what it's there for. It's to have for the student's own protection to make sure there's nothing left behind that might bite them later on. And we have someone that walks them through that process to get them to all the offices they need to talk to make sure everything's taken care of. As far as payment options, we have a couple different ways that you can pay your bill. Anything that's left over in excess of your financial aid, you can pay that in full. And for the spring, the payment deadline is December 8th or 2 weeks after the student registers, whichever is later. For the fall, that's going to be on August 1st. Anything that's not paid off by the payment deadline is going to be subject to a $75 late fee if that balance is over $500. If you don't want to pay it in full, we do offer a monthly payment plan that lets you pay the balance over the course of the semester. For the spring semester, you can pay that in up to 5 payments from December through April. In the fall semester, we have 4 payments available from August through November. There's a $50 administrative fee to use the payment plan. And if there's any payments that are late, that's going to be assessed a $25 late fee. So what kinds of payment we'll take, we try and make this as easy as possible. So you can come to our office and pay with a paper check, a money order, or cashier's check, or cash. You can also mail us any of those first 3, the paper check, the money order, or the cashier's check. Please don't mail us cash though. We also have online payments available through our billing center, which we're going to talk about in a second. And on the online payments, we can take an electronic check or an ACH. We can take credit and debit cards, including Visa, American Express, MasterCard, and Discover. Note that any of those debit or credit transactions do carry a 2.85% processing fee, and that's a pass-through fee straight from our credit card processor. We also offer bank wires through Western Union integrated within the billing center. And that's a great option to use if you're an international student or you have an international bank that you want to use. There's a $20 administrative fee to use the Western Union option, but it does lock in the exchange rates for a full 72 hours. So you can make sure to have that wire complete and into us. And if you want to do a wire from a domestic bank, you can also do domestic bank wires through the bank wire option. I mentioned the billing center a second ago, and let's talk a little bit more about that. What the billing center is, it's the one place you can go for anything related to the student account. That includes your semester bill, your account history, making those online payments, setting up a payment plan, providing us with a bank account in case you do get a refund, as well as getting your 1098-T forms, tax forms each year. Students already have access to that right away through My Hilltop. They'll just log into My Hilltop and there's an option for the students to get in there. However, if the student wishes, they can give access to the billing center to anyone they want, whether that's a parent or any other authorized user. They'll just go in there and set them up as authorized users, providing the email address. That person will then get an email with a temporary password, giving them access to the billing center, and then they'll log in using the billing center parent and guest login task on My Hilltop. Note that by providing someone as an authorized user, in addition to giving them access to the billing center, it also allows us as staff to be able to talk to that person about the student's account. Without the student giving us that explicit consent, we can't talk about account matters except in really general terms. So by setting you up as an authorized user, that allows a little more access to be able to discuss things. But the student does have to set that up. Last thing I'm going to talk about is tuition insurance. So we partner with GradGuard, which is the same company that offers the renter's insurance for students on campus, to be able to offer tuition insurance for students that have to withdraw due to medical reasons. It's a great thing. I mentioned the refund schedule earlier, where you get less of a refund the later into the semester you go. Tuition insurance protects you in case you have to withdraw later in the semester for these medical reasons. And that includes COVID. So it's physical, like illness, mental health, COVID, all that stuff. If there's a medical reason causing the student to completely withdraw, tuition insurance can kick in and cover any of those out-of-pocket costs. One of the other nice things about it is that it's completely customizable based on how much your actual out-of-pocket costs are. So if you're only paying $5,000 out of pocket, you only need to pay for a $5,000 or a coverage for $5,000. That premium is going to be a lot less. The premium is very small for the amount of coverage you get. So we do encourage everyone to at least take a look at tuition insurance, if not to get that. You do have to purchase it before the first day of classes, and that's really important. So if you are interested, go to My Hilltop, click on tuition insurance, and that won't sign you up for it, but it'll let you get more information about it. And you can purchase it through the GradGuard website. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jennifer to talk to you about financial aid.
Welcome, everybody. We wish we were doing this in person, but we're bringing you the next best thing virtually. And I want to make sure that you know that our financial service advisors are going to meet you where you're at. We really invest with you personally, and we partner with you. So whether you need to get in contact with us via phone or via Zoom or Google Chat, we're going to meet you where you're at. So please reach out to the advisors. I have a future slide about how to contact the advisor, but the financial service counselor is really going to guide you every step of the way. From the time that you raised your hand and expressed interest in coming to St. Edward's, throughout your career here, and even beyond the Hilltop, financial service counselors are there for you. So from admission to graduation, and we really want to look at your individual needs and circumstances. I know in times like this, some people are struggling, and so we want you to reach out and have that conversation. We want to know about your special circumstances. And in addition, we do provide ongoing financial education and advising, whether that's anything from budgeting 101 to understanding credit, to understanding your actual bill and what's there, and what that gap is and how you can finance that. We really want you to reach out and have those conversations. We really want to help you plan and problem solve all of your college financing. Some important dates that I'd like you to remember: if you have not yet completed the free application for federal student aid, it's not too late. We ask all students to complete that. There's actually 2 applications that are currently live on the federal government site. One is the 2000-2001 free application for federal student aid. And in this past October, the annual renewal came up. So we also have the 2001-2022 free application for federal student aid. So the 2021 will cover you through the spring term, and then you'll want to go ahead now and do the 21-22 for next summer, fall, and spring. Be sure to indicate our school code 003621 so that we can retrieve that information. If you're an international student that's on the line, just know that we also offer institutional need-based aid. You do need to complete what's called the CSS profile, the College Board Profile application. Our school code is 6619, and we ask all students to complete that annually as well. Again, that's only for our international students. If you're not an international student, we only require the free application for federal student aid. Um, about 40% of students get randomly selected for verification, which means we're required to verify the information that you provided on the free application for federal student aid matches your tax data and your household information. And so sometimes we do go out and ask for additional documents to be submitted. You can submit those documents through our secured Submit Your Financial Aid paperwork task on the My Hilltop portal. We ask that you please don't mail right now. So we are still receiving information through the snail mail, but we would much prefer if you would upload or fax your documents into us. It allows the process to be expedited in order to complete our review. So when we put together a financial aid award offer, it consists of a myriad of different sources. It can consist, of course, of any merit-based scholarships that you get based on your admissions application, as well as any institutional scholarships through St. Edward's that we offer. But we also put together both federal and state financial aid, as well as any private funding that you're getting from outside scholarships, maybe a civic organization or a church, as well as either the student or the parent could take a look at, and check with their human resource office with their employer. Sometimes there's benefits that are offered through employers. And so we put together the financial aid package really as an investment in you. It looks at all those different sources to help meet not only the billable charges, but the entire cost of education. And so, like I said, if you have any questions or concerns about the financial aid award offer that you received, please reach out to the advisor. Jonathan mentioned about the billing task. We do have a series of different tasks that are available through the My Hilltop portal. I mentioned the upload the financial aid paperwork, but we also have resolve any outstanding financial aid paperwork that you may have. You want to take a look and make sure that we're not missing any requirements from you, so that when your aid disperses to your student account, typically around 10 days before the start of class, there's no snags in the process. We really want to make sure that there's nothing outstanding. And if there is something outstanding, typically you're getting notified. The first place you were notified is through the email address that you provided on the free application for federal student aid. But once you become a St. Edward's student, your St. Edward's email account becomes our official means of communicating. So we'll be sending a notification to your St. Edward's email, letting you know about pending requirements that are out there. In addition, the financial aid counselors do a lot of personal outreach to students, letting them know what's missing in order to complete their application. You also want to make sure that you actually accepted the financial aid offer that was sent to you. You do have to actively accept any loan funds that were offered. So if you are interested in the student loans that were offered, you do have to actually go out to the My Hilltop task and accept those funds. And then once you do accept the funds, there's a series of different requirements that get set in order to complete that process, whether that's student loan counseling, so you understand your rights and responsibilities as a student loan borrower. We want to make sure that you're successful in the repayment of those loans. While we never encourage students to take on debt, we understand the reality is that many of them will choose to borrow, and therefore we really want to make sure that they have the financial education piece. And there's also a step to complete a master promissory note so that we can deliver those funds to the student. electronically. I mentioned the submit the financial aid paperwork, and also Jonathan had mentioned a little bit about direct deposit. If for any reason we need to refund you funds, we want to make sure that we have your account information through the direct deposit authorization. We will never go out to a checking or savings account and withdraw money unless you physically indicate that we can do so. So this is a means of just refunding you money that would be due to you. We have some students that are employed and work on campus, and so we want to be able to pay them. And so we do that through direct deposit. So we want to make sure we have that on file. You do need to maintain satisfactory academic progress, maintain your eligibility for both your merit and your institutional and federal and state aid. So we do have renewal requirements that must be met at the end of every spring term. We're getting ready to end our fall term, and so students that didn't meet these requirements at the end of fall, we do give them a warning notification that, hey, we want to make sure that you have the tools needed in order to be successful in the spring. And so at the end of spring is when we do our annual review of satisfactory academic progress. And so any student that's not meeting those requirements will be notified. Students always have the right to appeal. We understand, especially during COVID, that these are trying times, and we want to make sure that, again, that students have the tools and resources and that they're connected to their student success coach so that they can be successful. We do ask students complete the free application every year annually, October 1st, and we often send reminders and we do a FAFSA Fest to remind students, hey, it's time to renew your FAFSA application so that we can continue to offer you financial aid. What is SAP, or Satisfactory Academic Progress? Students have to complete at least 75% of the courses in which they attempt. So if a student attempts 12 credit hours, they have to complete successfully and earn at least 9 of those credit hours. And they have to maintain, in most programs, a 2.0 or a 2.5. We do have one scholarship, the Moreau Scholarship, that does require a 3.0 cumulative grade point average. But we ask students, all students, to review the terms and conditions and the student's right to know our financial aid policies on our website. And before students can accept their financial aid, they actually do have to review all those terms and understand their rights and responsibilities through reading and documenting that they've read that information. Again, if for any reason you're having difficulties, we always have an appeals process, and we want to make sure students are connected. We talked about access, and that's the same thing in billing as you have with the academic side. You do have to, parents and guests, the student has to grant you access to view that information. It's personally identifiable information, and so we can't authorize or have discussions with you unless they've granted you access. And so there's 2 tasks for those that access. One is in the billing center so that you can take a look at the account balance, pay the semester bill, set up any payment plans. Jonathan mentioned getting the 1098-T, but also on the academic side, if you want to look at semester grades or the academic transcript, the financial aid status, the financial aid package, you do need to set up parent and guest access to the academic information. And so please make sure you're going through both of those portals and gaining access to the information that you would like to receive. And now I'm going to give it over to Dustin Knoll, our Military and Veterans Affairs Coordinator.
Thanks for joining us today, folks. My name is Dustin Knoll, the Military and Veterans Coordinator here at St. Edward's University. So you're going to be using GI Bill benefits, or you're an ROTC student, or maybe you're a student who's going to use federal TA funding. It all starts through us. And where do you start? You can follow the website we have listed there for you, and we have specific guidance. Maybe you're still shopping around for before you're accepted, or if you're ready to go pursue your degree at St. Edward's for once you are accepted. You can view our policy and procedure guide, really view some of the granular things that we do. And we are a yellow ribbon participating school. And what that means is that we've agreed to add additional funding onto the post 9/11 funds available to GI Bill beneficiaries for any given VA academic year. And we work directly with the VA in taking care of your certifications and managing your benefits and managing the funding coming in. So please contact us. we'll need to set up an appointment so we can really understand all the funding you're considering and what that'll look like in conjunction with everything Jonathan and Jennifer were just talking about in the previous slides. It all ties together, and we're all here to make sure that you have successfully reached your higher education goals. So that's my brief part for veterans benefits, and I'm going to turn it back over to Jonathan now.
So Jennifer mentioned earlier that we were going to provide a slide showing how to get in touch with your financial aid advisor. This is that slide. So you can see that the counselors are distributed by alphabet. So you can see which counselor you've been assigned. Now, you do have the same counselor the entire time that you're here at St. Edward's. So even if that alphabet distribution gets changed, your counselor will stay with you the entire time. So you can find them on there. We encourage you to contact them if you have any questions. Like Jennifer said, they'll meet you over Zoom, over Google Meet, phone, whatever works for you, even now during social distancing. So feel free to give them an email. They are checking their voicemails also. This is them. And feel free to contact our main office. You have any questions at all, we're here for you. One of the nice things about being in our private education community and being part of St. Edward's is you really get that personal touch to your education. And so anything you need, contact us. We're here on campus in main building in room 204. Our hours are 9 a.m. to noon and 1 to 3. That's Monday through Friday. Stop by our virtual front desk Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to noon. The link to that is on our website. Our phone number, 512-448-8523, or toll free 800-555-0164. And our email is seu.finaid@stedwards.edu. And so on behalf of us and Student Financial Services, Jennifer and Dustin, I want to thank you for coming today and watching our presentation. We look forward to having you here on the Hilltop in the spring. And thanks for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.